Hello, my dear students, and the rest of the learners. Welcome to part 18 of a 25-part series of tutorials on creating presentations using Microsoft PowerPoint. In this tutorial, we are going to look at how to animate text and graphics in a presentation. My name is Mema JM, or you can simply call me Emily Swap. You can animate text, graphics, diagrams, charts, and other objects on your slides so that you can focus on important points, control the flow of information, and add interest to your presentation. To simplify designing with animations, apply a preset animation scheme to items on all slides, selected slides, or some items on the slide master. Or you can control how and when you want an item to appear on a slide during your presentation. To fly in from the left when you click the mouse, for example, using the custom animation task pane. Custom animations can be applied to items on a slide in a placeholder or to a paragraph, which includes single bullets or list items. For instance, you can apply the fly-in animation to all items on a slide, or you can apply it to a single paragraph in a bulleted list. Use entrance, emphasis, or exit options in addition to preset or custom motion paths. Also, you can apply more than one animation to an item so that you can make that bullet item fly in and then fly out. Most animation options include associated effects to choose from. These might include options for playing a sound with animation, and text animations usually let you apply the effect by letter, word, or a paragraph, such as having a title fly in a word at a time instead of all at once. Animation is to add a special visual or sound effect to text or an object. For example, you can have your text bullet points fly in from the left, one word at a time, or hear the sound of applause when a picture is uncovered. You can preview the animation of your text and objects for one slide or for the whole presentation. A motion path is a path that a specified object or text follow as part of an animation sequence for a slide. To animate the text and objects, you do the following. Open the presentation you want to add animation to, then click on View menu and select the normal view. Click on the slide with the text or objects that you want to animate, and then select the text or objects to be animated. Click on Animations menu and select the animation of your choice from those displayed, or click on Add Animation button to set animation for the following in case you need to. If you want to make the text or object enter the slide, show presentation with an effect, point to entrance, and then click an effect. If you want to add an effect to text or an object that is on the slide, point to emphasis and then click an effect. If you want to add an effect to text or an object that makes it leave the slide at some point, point to exit and then click an effect. If you want to add an effect that makes an object move in a specified pattern, point to motion paths and then click an effect. Set the effects option required. Specify how to initiate the animation, whether it is by clicking the mouse or automatically. To animate manually, select on click. To animate automatically, select on either with the previous or after previous options and the animation timing drop-down list. If you set the animation to be automatic, specify the duration after which the animation should commence and the durations and delay spin buttons. If you have several animated text or objects within the same slide, you can reorder the animation by clicking on Animation pane. Then set the order of how animation will be executed under the Animation pane by clicking on each object or text, then clicking on either up or down buttons to position each object at the appropriate position. Finally, close the Animation pane. Note, the effects appear in the animation list in the order you apply them. The animated items are noted on the slide by a non-printing numbered tag that correlates the effects in the list. This tag does not show up in the slideshow view. The following is a demonstration on how to animate text and graphics in the presentation by the title Introduction to ManySwap. If we want to animate the various objects in this presentation, we shall therefore do the following. You click on the slide with the object you want to animate, and then you click on Animations menu. Remember to select the objects first. So let me select, for example, Introduction to ManySwap. And then you choose the animation of your choice. Let me choose Fly In. Then under Effect Options, if I click on Effect Options, I can decide which direction I want my text to fly from. So let me choose from top. Then you can also check if that text has sequence. So you select it, and then you click again on Effects. Then check Sequence. Here, we can see the sequence is only as one object. But I want my sequence to be by word. What should I do? If you find that the sequence and the sequence, we don't have or you don't have more options to choose from, you can check if the animation that you have selected has several options. So where do you get the other effects from? You click on the effect or the object that has been animated under the animation pane. For example, you click this one, number 1, and you can see it is numbered as 1 on my slide. So you click on that object, and then you click on this button here, the spin button. So you click it, and then click on, for example, Effect Options. If you click on Effects option, you can see there's Effect tab and apply Fly In. Then there's Animate Text here. So you click on this button, Animate Text, all at once, by word or by letter. So I'm going to choose by word. And then you click OK. So you can see it is, the animation is now appearing by word. Proceed to the next. So you select the next, then choose the effect that you want, the animation that you want. My animation that I want is still Fly In. Now, from which direction do I want it to fly in from? I want it to fly in from the side now. So, from left. Do I want it to be, do I want that animation to be by word or just as a whole? Now, if you click on the effects options, you can see we don't have the sequence. We can check if this animation has sequence. So if you select the text again, that way, and then click under effects, you can see we don't have sequence. We have only direction. Now for me to find out if I can be able to animate it by word, by object, or as a whole, or as a paragraph, I can click on that animation here, on that object, then click on this button here and click on Effect Options. Then from there, you click on Effect tab. Below here, there is Animate Text. So you click on Animate Text. Yes, I can see there is by word. I want to choose by word. Then there's this part here for delay. How long do you want the text to wait before appearing? You specify. I want it to remain as 10. So let me click on OK. So you can see they're appearing as single ones, but in sequence. So that's animation for the first slide. You do the same for the next slide. So let me proceed now doing my animations. Just watch how I'm going to do it. I'll select each of the options, choose animation, then apply the animation of my choice. Click on the effect options and proceed as in that order. So let me proceed. You can see there is none. So I'm going to choose fly in. Effect options from top. The sequence, do I have the sequence? Let me check. I have as one object all at once by paragraph. I want it to be one at a time, one word at a time. So let me proceed from there. I click on its button here, and then I choose effect options. Then and animate text here, I'll choose by word. Then click OK. Proceed to the next one. I'll click on that. This one now will float in. So I choose float in. Then I check effect options. Note the direction is flow up or flow down. I want it to flow down. Direction. Now sequence as one object, all at once or by paragraph. I want by word. So let me proceed. Let me move from there. I click on its button here, click on effects options, click on effect tab. Then and animate text I choose by word and click OK. That way, I like that. Then the next is this image. I want that one to zoom in. So let me click on this button and choose zoom. That way. The direction, let me check effect options, object center or slide center. If I click slide center, that's how it will look like. Now let me have object center. I leave the rest. I go to slide number 3. You can even select all the options or all the objects at once that want to animate to make the task easier. So I want to hold Control key on my keyboard and press letter A. They have all been selected. I don't want to animate the footer. So I'll hold Control key, then click on the footer, each of them, to remove them from my selection. Then from there, I can choose animation. I want to choose wheel. Now you can see all the elements have been given number 1. So let me separate them. So I'll click on animation pane. I'll click on each of them, click on start. Each of them, click on start on click. Start on click. You can see the numbers are changing. Start on click. Start on click. Now, the order is also important. If you check carefully, you can see beside by is number 5. It should be the first one. So you change the order by clicking on the object, then move it up once to the position that we wanted to occupy, number 1. Now this one is 2, that's okay. But this one is 6, so I have to change it to number 3. So I have to click the up arrow key up to number 3, that way. Then there's this object, this is number 6, this should be number 4. So I'll move it to number 4. This one is number 6, it should be number 5. This one is number 6. I don't need to animate these others. I move on to slide number 4. At slide number 4, I can click on each of them separately. So click on that object. I want it to fly in, and the direction, so I'll choose direction from effects options. I want it to fly from top. Now, that one can remain. The sequence is as one object. Now, these others, I'll click on this text box, and then the animation can be swivel. So let me choose a swivel. I'll click on swivel. Now, as you can see, the swivel is allowing each of the paragraphs, call them the statements, to appear one at a time. So let it remain that way. Let me also choose swivel for this other one. So I'll click on this button here, then choose swivel. And I don't need to change that because the swivel is giving the text opportunity to appear one line at a time. I move on to slide number 5, and then I can click on each of these objects. And then the animation, if you find your animation is not listed, you click on this button here to choose more animations. Can we choose bounce? Let me choose bounce. Let me also do the same for this, bounce. So select, I'll click on that button and choose bounce. Can you change the direction for the bouncing? Let's see. If I click on that object, I click on effect options. There is only either as one object, all at once, or by paragraph. So let those remain that way. Let those remain that way. Then I move on to this next element here, or next object. I select it. That one I want wheel, so choose wheel. Then the effect options, the spokes, they can remain. Now, can we have an opportunity? So can we have an opportunity to set each of the elements, or to have each of the elements in the table have their own effects? Let's see. If I select that table, and then I click on effect options, I can only see the spokes. What about if I click on this button or this arrow here, and then I click effects options? Then I click on effects. Do I have an opportunity to choose one element at a time? No, but I can decide the number of spokes that I want. Let me even have 3 spokes. Then timing, you can decide whether to start on a click with the previous or after previous. I want my presentation to be on a click, so let it remain that way. After how long should it take before it moves? So you can choose delay. I want to choose 1. Duration on the screen, very slow, slow, or fast. Let me have slow. And then I can click on OK. So that's how it will look like. That's how we slide number 6. Then slide number 7, I can press Control key on my keyboard and press letter A to select all the elements. Then I can press Control key to remove the footer from my selection. So when you click on each of them, you can see that the selection is being removed. Then I want to select wheel. We are going to see how to animate each of these elements in this presentation on the next screens. Let me move on to slide number 8. You click slide number 8. I want to press Control key, then A to select all the elements. But then while pressing Control key, I can deselect the footer. I want my footer to remain without any animation. Then I can choose float in. Do I want them to float all at once? No. So what I need to do is under animation span, I can change each of them by clicking on each arrow and click on start. Next, start on click. Next, start on click. Next, start on click. Let me move to slide number 9. Now, slide number 9 has a single object. So this one, I wanted to fly in. From which direction? I wanted to fly from left. Number 9, we have these elements here. So I can have each of them fly from various directions. So this one can zoom in. So choose zoom. This one can fly from top. So fly in, effect options, from top. This one, fly in, that is okay. This one, fly in. Now I want that one to fly in from left. Then this other one to fly in and then fly in from right. That way. Then we move on to slide number 11. Click on the Control key or press on the Control key and then press letter A on the keyboard. And then we can choose the animation. I want my animation to be appear. So choose appear. Now they're appearing all at once. Let's change. Now, effect and effects options. Decide whether you want them to appear all at once, one by one, level 1, or level at once, or level 1 by 1. So level 1 by 1. But that animation is not nice. Let me change. Let me choose a fly in or float in. Now let them float from top downwards. So under effect options, I'll choose float down so that we move from the top level downwards to the last level. That way. That is good. So let me move to slide number 12. Here we have the question. So I'll click on each. Then I'll choose fly in. Now let it fly from left. This equation, let it fly in, but then fly in from top. This other one to also fly in, but then the effect is from top. Lastly, we have this slide number 11. We can press Control key, then letter A, and choose the animation to be float in. Now I want them to float from top. So I'll click under effect options. I'll choose float down. That way. They can float all at once. No problem. And then always remember to save your work by clicking on Save button from the Quick Access toolbar. Now, just as you have seen, my dear students and the rest of the learners, you can always animate text by letter, by word, or even by paragraph. Now to do that, just as you have seen, you select the text that you want to animate. And then you click on Animations menu and select an animation of choice. Then click on Effects Options button. Under Sequence, you select either as one object all at once by paragraph, etc. Note, if you want to delay in action between letter, word, or paragraph animations, on the Timing tab, enter a number in the delay box. So the following is a demonstration on how to animate text by letter, word, or paragraph in the presentation by the title, Introduction to Animate Swap. So as you have just seen, for our slide number 2, just as I recap or I repeat, if I want to animate this text, this paragraph here, so that my text appear one word at a time, I need to just click on it, then choose the animation that I want. This time round, I want to choose fly in. So, or bounce. Let me choose bounce. You can see it is bouncing as a whole object. Now, if I want to change that, I can click on it, then click on Effects Options. And you can see here, there's as one object, all at once, or by paragraph. If I choose by paragraph, you can see that's the first paragraph, that is called the paragraph. But if I want to animate them so that they appear one word after the other, I'll have to click on that object, which I've already animated, click on its number in the list and animations pane here. Then click on this button and click on timing or effect options. So let me click on timing. If I click on timing, of course, note, you can decide to start either on a click with the previous or after previous. I want to begin or start on a click. Now, there is the section for effect. So you can click on effect, and then where it is animate text here, you can animate by word or by letter or at once, all at once. So let me click by word that way. Then you can decide how long to delay or how long one should delay before it appears after the other has already appeared by typing your value here. I want to retain it as 10. Then you finally click on OK. You can see now they are bouncing one word after the other. Look at how they are flying. Look at how they are moving. That's animating the text to appear one word after the other. You can also animate charts and its elements. Now, to animate a chart and its elements, in normal view, you display the slide that has the chart you want to animate and select it. Then click on Animations menu and click on Add Effect button. Select an animation for chart entrance, emphasis, or exit. To apply an animation to specific elements in the chart, select the elements to animate and then click Effect Options. Select your animation sequence under Sequence. The following is a demonstration on how to animate charts and its elements in the presentation by the title, Introduction to Animate Swap. So in this presentation, our chart is in slide number 7. So here we are, slide number 7. Now we can animate each of these elements. To begin with, If you look carefully, my dear students and the rest of the learners, you can see that all the elements are numbered as 1. So we can first remove that by clicking on each of them under the animation pane and then clicking on click. And then I also want to do the same for the second one by clicking on start on click. Now, we can proceed and add effects to each of these elements. So to do that, for example, I can click on subscribers here and then click on effect options. While here, I can choose the sequence, whether I want my chart to appear as one object, or the elements to appear as one object, or by category. Let me choose by category. You can see how by category behaves. You can also decide to make selection for the entrance. So for example, you can click on this button here and choose some animation for entrance, for emphasis, for exit. So for example, I can choose emphasis, and for emphasis, I can click on the spin. You see? Of course, under effect options for the spin, if you click on effect options, you can decide how you want to spin. Is it a quarter spin, a half spin, full spin, 2 spins? And then, of course, the sequence remains. Let me choose 2 spins. What about if you are to check under the effects options from the animation pane? So I want to click on, for example, this section, and then click on that button here, and then choose or select effect options. If I click on effects, you can see what is there. We have the sound, we have the animation, and the amount, or the spin amount. If you click on timing, you can see there's on click, there's a time for delay, there's the duration you want to take. There's also the repeat and rewind when done playing. So let me click OK. In addition, you can change a text or object animation. So you may decide either to remove your animation from an object or you change it to another. How do you do that? So you display the slide in which you want to change an animation. Then select the animated text or object whose animation you want to change. Then click on Animations menu and select None. By doing that, you will have removed the animation. Then you click on the animation that you want to apply. Note, steps 1 to 3 are followed when you want to remove an animated effect from text or objects. So the following is a demonstration on how to change a text or object animation in the presentation by the title Introduction to MLSwap. So if, for example, I want to remove some animation, let me go to slide number 13. If I want to remove some animation from this slide or change, what I just need to do is to click on the object whose animation I want to remove. For example, I want to remove the animation for this object because this is an action button. So you click on it, click on Animations menu, and then click None. You can see it is no longer happened. So I have removed the animation. What about if I want to change animation? For example, I want to change the animation here. I want to change the animation for this object. Currently, it reads float in. I want to change that, so I'll remove what is there first, and then I'll click on this button here for more options, and then I want to click on swivel. So that's how you change the animation. So you can remove an animation and you can change an animation for an object. Always remember to click on Save button to save your work. Sometimes you may also need to loop an animation. To loop an animation is to set an animation in a way that it repeats once done. This can be done by selecting the slide with the text or object to be animated, then click on Animations menu and select the animation of your choice. Click on Animation pane. Then under the Animation task pane, click on the animated object or text from the list. Then click on the drop-down list arrow that appears and select timing. In the repeat list, do one of the following. If you want to repeat the animation a set number of times and then stop, type in a numerical value. If you want to allow the animation to repeat until you click the slide, click until next click. If you want to allow the animation to repeat until all other animations of the slide are finished, click until end of slide. From the dialog box that will be displayed, click on Effect Options. Click on Timing tab and check the checkbox for rewind when done playing. So the following is a demonstration on how to loop an animation in the presentation by the title, Introduction to MLSwap. So in this presentation, if you want, for example, to make some animation repeat, you can do it as follows. For example, I want to choose the animation for this object. I want to choose to set for this one. Already, it reads fly in. That's the animation which is set there. I can click on this button and a task pane here. So I can click on this button for this object and then click on timing. Let me click on timing. Now under timing, of course, you can set the start to be on a click with the previous or after previous. That's okay. Now our interest is on repeat. Look here, there's this repeat button here and there's this drop down list here. So you can decide to repeat that animation twice, 3 times, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times, or until next click or until end of slide. So for example, I can choose until next click. Now that one overcomes or overrides rewind when done playing. Because if you are repeating until next click, it means that the rewind will continue. But I can remove that and click on none, repeat none, and then I can choose rewind when done playing. So when the animation finishes or stops, it can repeat. Now I want to choose repeat and then until next click. And remember, you can always set your delay time here. For example, 2 seconds. Now, once you have done that, you can click on OK. Don't forget, you can always click on the effect and set other options from there. Then you finally click on OK. So you can see how that animation behaves. Always remember to save your work by clicking on Save button from the Quick Access toolbar. And with that, my dear students and the rest of the learners, we have come to the end of part 18 of the series. You can continue to part 19 of the 25-part series in which we are going to learn about how to add multimedia to a presentation. Congratulations for learning part 18 of 25 on animating text and graphics in creating presentation series. You can access the rest of the parts in the series as well as other computer or ICT videos by clicking or tapping on Swap ICT YouTube channel below this video. To subscribe to the channel, tap on subscribe button below this video in YouTube if it's not currently reading as subscribed. For any further correspondence, kindly write it to us through the email mlswap@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening to me, and God bless.